Let's be honest, everybody. The Baltimore Ravens depth chart has changed a ton since the 2025 NFL Draft. So on today's episode, I'm going to go position group by position group and let you know where everything stands as of right now, heading into the summer in a training camp and then into the 2025 NFL season. Now, I will tell you this. You're going to want to stick around because where Baltimore currently has Kyle Hamilton is a little bit of a surprise. At least it shocked me. I'm sure you're going to feel the same way. Before we get into the depth charts, we're going to start with the quarterback position. Before that, our Chiefs Report host, Tyler Jones, of course, if you remember, if you were here just a year ago, he was the Ravens Rundown host. He left this channel to go host the Kansas City Chiefs show, and he just bet me that we couldn't get 300 likes on today's video, okay? So if you hate the Kansas City Chiefs, if you want to prove Tyler Jones wrong, who left this fan base, do me one big favor, hit that thumbs up button on today's video. Let's start in the quarterback room where we always do. QB1, Lamar Jackson, hopefully going to be MV3 after this year. Cooper Rush, QB2, Devin Leary in that QB3 spot. But as we all know, from what we saw in preseason of him last year, I think it's a long shot that he ends up making this 53-man roster. Let's talk about the two other guys, though. I love this Cooper Rush signing, okay? And I love it for multiple reasons. You get two different looks at quarterback, right? If Lamar Jackson goes down, I still have faith in Cooper Rush, even though he doesn't have that rushing ability to run this offense. He's proved time and time again in his stops in Dallas and his time backing up Dak Prescott that when Dak Prescott eventually got injured, which was a lot over the last couple of years, Cooper Rush was not only able to go back in there and keep that offense running, he was able to go in there and win ball games. If you surround your backups with enough talent, and this roster has enough talent, they can go in there if they need to and win a few games for you. Let's go to the running back room. We got RB1, of course, our main man, Derrick Henry. The RB2 spot has Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and then you got Rasheen Ali, Marcus Major, and Sony Nato with all the other spots in that running back room. And I would still be on the lookout for a Derrick Henry extension, okay? Now, they do have a lot of people to pay. And we just did the video last week about their decisions with fifth-year options on Tyler Linderbaum and on Kyle Hamilton. They got those two to pay, possibly Lamar Jackson as well. And it's like, does Derrick Henry fit in there? I think he does. He proved last year how important he was in this offseason. I would not be surprised if they wanted to keep him around for the long term. And speaking of that running back room, I do think this is a big year for Keaton Mitchell. Okay? I think that last year, everybody expected maybe a little bit more from him coming off of that injury, and he didn't really give it to you. I don't know if he was ever fully healthy, fully back from that rehab. Maybe came back a little bit too early, but now he's going to have another full offseason to get 100% healthy, and hopefully he'll be able to build upon what was an amazing rookie year where he showed a ton of flash and a ton of promise. Let's go to the wide receiver room now. You got an awesome wide receiver room, in my opinion, probably the best that this team has had in a while. Wide receiver one's still going to be Zay Flowers, Devontae Walker, Malik Cunningham, and Xavier Guillory backing him up. Wide receiver two, you got Rashod Bateman, Tyler Wallace, Keith Kirkwood, and Jamal Banks. And then wide receiver three, the newly acquired DeAndre Hopkins, a guy I'm super excited about, LaJohntay Wester, Anthony Miller, and Dayton Wade backing up. And honestly, those guys are probably most likely backing up Zay Flowers in the slot. But regardless, I feel really good about this room for multiple reasons. You got your shifty, small slot guy who can still do a little bit outside damage in Zay Flowers. You got Rashod Bateman, who last year he proved to be a phenomenal deep ball threat, but also just a really good wide receiver and a good weapon for Lamar Jackson. And then you add in DeAndre Hopkins, gives Lamar something totally new, totally different, a red zone threat, a possession receiver, still a contested catch monster. This is the best wide receiver core Lamar's ever had, and there's no doubts about it. You let me know in the comment section down below, which position group are you most confident in? Is it any of the three I just named, or is it one that we're going to talk about in just a little bit? Regardless, make sure you guys get down in the comment section. Let me know your answer. Again, which position group are you most confident in? Let's talk about tight ends now. I'm really excited about this room as well. I know the Mark Andrews saga over the offseason has been an interesting one. There was a lot of trade rumors, and obviously he's going to run it back on this year. So you got him at the tight end 1 spot, Isaiah Likely the tight end 2 spot. Those guys to me are honestly more like tight end 1A and tight end 1B. And then Charlie Kolar, Zaire Mitchell-Payton, and of course you've got Pitts backing up the tight end room as well. So my thoughts on why they didn't trade away Andrews was they could have traded him away, and they were looking to get a third-round pick. I don't think anybody was willing to offer a third-round selection for him. And so they said, you know what? Let's run it back one more year with him, and if he gets signed in the offseason, free agency, when his contract is up, we're probably going to get a fourth-round compensatory pick for him? So it's like, would you rather get a fourth now or just play him another year and then get a fourth then? I'm really excited to see how Isaiah Likely matures this next year. He had an awesome step up in 2024, especially that first game of the year against the Kansas City Chiefs. I would like to see that a little bit more often, or at least something consistent as in that. 42 receptions, 477 yards, and 6 touchdowns this past year. He was a great target for Lamar Jackson to go to constantly, and I'm expecting yet another really big jump for him. Let's talk offensive line now. You got Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Vorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Faalele, Roger Rosengarten as the starters. Noteboom, the newly acquired left tackle, is backing up Stanley, as well as Carson Vinson, the 5th-round selection out of Alabama A&M, and Ozzie Hutchinson. Then you go to the interior, Garrett Dellinger out of LSU, the most recent draft pick. Jared Penning, a really intriguing UDFA. Nick Samox backing up Tyler Linderbaum, so is Darian Dalcourt. Then, of course, you got Ben Cleveland, Corey Bullock on the right side on the guard position. And then right tackle, Emory Jones Jr., Gerard Christian Lichtenhand, and Reed Holsky are all the backups. And I'd be willing to bet the starting 5 that I just mentioned that you just saw, those are going to be the starting 5 that we roll into 2025 with, okay? Because Emory Jones Jr. is dealing with a labrum issue, an injury. And so he's not going to he didn't get any of the rookie minicamp reps. He's not going to get a ton of the early reps, as we get before training camp. And so that question of will he make a starting push, I think it's hindered a little bit more because of that injury. Now, if he wasn't injured, I wouldn't be surprised if he made sort of a starting push. And from some accounts, people think he might on the interior. Some people still think he's a tackle. I think they're going to eventually move him to guard. And I think in 2026 is when you see him starting on that offensive line. Here's the offense as a whole. I think this is a really, really good group. When I look at these 11 players, I've got all the confidence in the world that they might not be able to replicate last year, because last year was like a historic year just in the entire National Football League. But I've got every ounce of confidence in this group to be able to put up numbers every single day. Game in, game out, especially when you got the quarterback that you do manning it all. It's Red Pin time. Get them out. Go down the comment section and grade this offense. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. I think I'm giving them like an A. I don't think I'd go A+. I'd like the interior to be a little bit better. But other than that, there's not a lot of holes at all. Coming up, we're about to go on to the defense. The part of this, which I think is a little more, I don't want to say volatile, but I think could change along the course of the next couple of months. Make sure you stick around for that. But also, real quick, I got to talk about our awesome sponsor of today's video. That is our friends over at Fanatics. We're about to talk defense. That means, of course, we're about to talk the first-round pick, Mr. Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is going to be a Baltimore Raven for a very long time. I just feel it. He screams Raven to me, okay? And I don't think John Harbaugh, Zach Orr are in the business of getting rid of these really good players. He's going to be in the Charm City for a long time to come. So getting his jersey is just a phenomenal investment, okay? Rock it at every game, every party. Heck, if your work has a casual dress code as of mine does, you can wear a Malachi Starks jersey to work. Chatsports.com/Starks is where you need to go. The link's going to be in the comments and description of today's video. Let's start on the interior of the defensive line. Broderick Washington, Travis Jones, and Nnamdi Madubuike, and then, of course, C.J. Ravenel and Odeleye, and then Okeye and Jones and Anais Peebles are the backups right there. Plain and simple, you need more depth on this interior. I think this is the only position group that I'm really worried about the depth of, okay? I'm worried about some of the starters in the cornerback room. Like, what are you going to get out of Chidobe Awuzie? He might start, maybe it's TJ Tampa, maybe it's neither of them. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I don't mind the depth there in the cornerback spot. I'm a little bit worried about it on the interior. Would not be surprised if they made some sort of free agent signing over the next couple of months to help that. Let's go to the linebacker room, okay? Obviously, as we know, this is a 3-4 base defense, so those left and right outside linebackers, basically, they're edge rushers, right? Kyle Van Noy and then Trenton Simpson, Roquan Smith there in the middle. Odafe Owe is on the right side. Backing up Kyle Van Noy is Tavius Robinson, David Ajabo, and Malik Ham. Then Teddy Buchanan, Kwenku, and Martin are backing up Trenton Simpson. Jake Hummel and Jay Higgins are backing up Roquan Smith. Mike Green, Adisa Isaac, and DeJuan Black are backing up Odafe Owe. And when I look at this room, I'm dubbing it the competition room because you got a ton of questions to get answered before the season. Like, who gets cut? Is it going to be Robinson or Ajabo? There's a lot of guys in that room. Not all of them are making the 53-man. And then you turn to who's going to start. Is it going to be Odafe Owe, the guy who just got 10 sacks last year, or is it going to be Mike Green, who had 17 sacks for Marshall, was your second-round selection, and by all means has all the potential in the world? And then you go to the middle. Who's going to start? Is it going to be Trenton Simpson, or is it going to be Teddy Buchanan? Teddy Buchanan, a guy who is going to be very, very young, obviously. He's going to be a rookie. Hasn't played in the National Football League. Trenton Simpson started for most of last year, but then it's a big of head scratcher when he didn't really play the last 4 weeks of the season. So can Teddy Buchanan make a run for that starting linebacker position? It's going to be so exciting to see how all three of those things shake out over the next couple of months and into the 2025 season. Get your votes in, okay? Pick the starter. Will it be Trenton Simpson or will it be Teddy Buchanan? Where do you lie as of right now? Let me know in the comment section down below by typing TS or TB. Here is where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see, they've got Kyle Hamilton listed as the nickelback. Of course, Nate Wickens on the left side, the outside. They got Marlon Humphrey as an outside corner, as the right cornerback. Then TJ Champa, Jalen Armour-Davis, and Robinson are backing up Wiggins. Chidobe Awuzie, Bilal Kone is backing up Marlon Humphrey. And then Longerbeam and Lowry are backing up Kyle Hamilton. And I want to just say, this is why you added Starks. It wasn't just for the talent that he brings to the roster, although the talent that he brings to the roster is phenomenal. But you added Starks so that you could have a confident and competent safety with Ardarius Washington in the backfield, so that way you can use Kyle Hamilton in these ways. You could use him in the nickel. You could use him in the slot. Or you could put him back there at safety, right? And that's a disclaimer I want to make. Just because right now on the depth chart, he is in the nickel, it does not mean that he will solely be in the nickel. I still expect him to play a ton of snaps in that free or even the strong safety role. But that's the great thing about Hamilton, is he could do anything. He could go anywhere. And I think with the current state of the cornerback room and the lack of talent there outside of Wiggins and outside of Humphrey, you got a bunch of guys who are depth pieces. What that allows is those two corners you have a lot of confidence in Wiggins and Humphrey, to go to the outside. Kyle Hamilton comes to the nickel. And then you got two safeties you have a lot of really great confidence in. And Starks and Washington, because you've seen it in Washington, and you just been a first rounder on Starks. Now we go to the safety room, okay? Those two guys obviously are going to be the starters on the depth chart currently. Then Sanusi Kane and Igbinosin backing up the strong safety. And then Bo Braid and Jackson are backing up Malachi Starks on that free safety. They've got a lot of really great depth I'm excited about as well. Here's how the defense looks. If you look at it as a whole, obviously you got the Mike linebacker with Mr. Roquan Smith there. And that's a really good group, okay? And I think it's a massive improvement from last year. You think of last year, you had Eddie Jackson in this group. You had Brandon Stevens in this group. You didn't have Mike Green. You didn't have Malachi Starks. You had Nate Wiggins as a rookie. Like, I love this unit. I think it's a massive step up, and I think you're getting a really good squad in year 2 of a defensive coordinator, where he's not going to have as many of the, questionable decisions, possibly. He's going to be wiser, older, been in that position for much longer, a defensive coordinator. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're about to get on out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You found it to be a little bit, not only entertaining, but also you guys learned a thing or two. Try to keep you best updated as I can. Make sure, never miss a moment. You'll hit that sub button.